It was 6 years ago when my son was probably a week old. And my mom was still there helping me take care of him, my first child. And I had snuck away by myself to read for a little bit. And I just picked up Kathleen Norris's book, The Cloister Walk. And I'd read it when I was in grad school. So that was all the way back in 2002. And this was, when was my son born? 2008. So I picked it back up and I just reread the preface. And there was just one paragraph that talked about the Benedictines and how they've always believed there's enough time in each day for work and study and rest and play, I think is what she says. And I just remember feeling this. It wasn't just the wildness of my reality as a first-time mom and that whole, I mean, of course that first week is very intense, but it was this buildup of my whole life of feeling like there was not enough time, and that there was never enough time to be who I wanted to be, or to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, or to even be a good friend, or even be the wife I wanted to be. And now I had this baby, and I was totally going to fail it too. And I just remember feeling like, what if there's really enough time? And what does that mean? And it was just kind of this moment of prayer where I asked God to show me what it meant that there could be enough time. And after that, I didn't even finish rereading The Cloister Walk. I just started reading about Benedictine spirituality. So, and I didn't even know where to start. I didn't have anybody to ask. So I asked Amazon, and I just kind of I would buy a book, and my poor husband was like, seriously, can we just check these out at the library? But I would buy a book and then see what was recommended next. And I just kind of worked through, some were really bad and some were good, and I ended up with The Rule of St. Benedict and started studying it. And I just was, that whole first year of my son's life, I tried to stay. I was on staff with Young Life, and I never pictured myself as a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to be in ministry my whole life, and I just saw myself as super mom, and I would just cart this baby along with me, and we'd just make it happen. And so and it sort of worked for the first 6 months until he had an opinion and legs that worked, and it just started to get really hard. And I think I was faced with this realization that I was going to have to make a choice if I kept working. And then when I made the choice to stay home, it became bigger and bigger to me how much I had built my sense of self around being someone in ministry, and how much I had found my value and assured myself of my value to God, because I was doing something important. And I started to ask myself a lot, is this important?
Right.
And I think when I was on staff with Young Life and was working with kids, that it was not easy, and there were people that were hard to love, and I was giving up time and sacrificing sleep, and so it felt like, because this is hard, then I'm doing something good. And even though being a mom was hard, it was easy to love my son, and he was one person, and I wanted to be influencing everybody. So I think there was that whole first year, there was this big, those two things, this feeling of what is my worth and my value, what does God really think about me, and started to mix in with this I'm a nerd and I'm really excited about like Saint Benedict and Benedictine monks. And so the more that I read and was on this pursuit of like, what does it mean to have enough time, the more I came into this this slow process of recognizing my value to God was not based on my performance. And